Hi, everybody, and welcome back to Build. I'm your host, Cole Delbick. Queen of the Seas and Chief Stew Kate Chastain from Below Deck is here today to talk about the 7th season, which premieres tonight on Bravo. Kate, Captain Lee, and Ashton and the team embark on a new charter. Expect the same insane drama, but breathtaking views as they yacht around Thailand with some outrageous guests while I sit at home incredibly jealous on my couch. So before we welcome Kate onto the stage, let's take a look at the trailer for the new season.
This season on Below Deck.
Thailand is really unique. There's so much to take in. It's almost sensory overload. Holy are you kidding me?
When you hook up with somebody on a yacht, you gotta choose wisely. Oh my goodness! Boat manses don't end. You have to ship out.
I do feel like he's like the type that makes out with a new girl like every week. Waking up next to your boss is the most awkward thing. It's just gonna be a really weird day.
No, I don't think you're a good chief stew. Do you want to tell me I'm being unfair? I'm sorry I missed a couple of things, but I'm not perfect.
I haven't made out of compliments yet, but
I'm telling you that you have.
With beach. Me.
You're not this special superstar that you think you are. Oh.
Shots. If anybody thinks that I won't fire somebody in the middle of a charter, they don't know me.
Everybody feels that way about you, Kate.
okay, right. Go find another chief stew. I quit.
Cool.
Don't follow me. Don't follow me.
Let's give it up for Kate Chastain, everybody.
Hi.
Hi. Thank you so much for being here, and congrats on season 7.
Thank you. It's hard to believe. So many seasons. So many charter guests.
Just hearing Captain Lee like possibly fire someone in that trailer just like shook me to my core.
I know. I got anxiety watching that trailer, and I've seen it a few times.
Did you ever imagine that you'd be sort of here 7 seasons later? I mean, it's kind of incredible.
No, I think at this point, I've done Below Deck as long as I did real yachting.
I mean, I feel like Below Deck doesn't get sort of the credit it deserves because it is like a powerhouse franchise for Bravo at this point. It has a spinoff, and you know, sometimes gets higher ratings than some of the other Housewife franchises.
Thank you for pointing that out.
So, I mean, everybody, let's give Below Deck their credit.
And we're working. We're really working very, very hard. And we're filmed while we're sleeping.
There is that. I mean, I think you are a huge part of that success. I mean, you're my favorite person on reality TV, and I've just been rooting for you since those early seasons.
Well, you have impeccable taste.
You know, I feel like I'm on this one-man mission to like evangelize the world about Below Deck because I do think it's the perfect reality show because it blends adventure. We have the dramas, the hookups. There's a food element. There's a design element. And then everyone's contained into this vessel that can be very claustrophobic at times and very drama-forward at times.
And then also the fact that we have obviously Captain Lee, and I've been coming back, but you also have new cast members. So you've got familiar faces, but then also fresh life every season.
Yeah, it's like a new injection. I mean, and this cast, we have 3 returning, but it's mostly newbies now.
Yeah, we've got some great newbies, and then Ashton is boasting the season, and all of our newbies are very strong personalities, and our deck crew is super hot.
You say that in the trailer.
It's true.
What do you think? Why do you think fans are so sort of into the show? Like, why do you think it's relevant to their interests all these years later? Like, what do you think it is about Below Deck that speaks to them?
I think you hit the nail on the head when you said it has all of those factors that people like. I think the fact that we're working, everybody pretty much works, so they can relate to workplace drama on some level. I think that my favorite compliment is when somebody comes up and they're like, this is the one show my boyfriend will watch with me instead of like Housewives. It's just ladies arguing and stuff, which I love the Housewives, but I don't think I could get a guy friend of mine to sit down. But I think because of Captain Lee and the deck team and the anchor and the adventure, it does appeal to a broader audience.
Yeah, it's really like expanding Bravo's like girls and gays demo. Let's do it.
I know.
Before we get into the new season, I was hoping we could do a quick like exit survey about the latest season of Below Deck Med. Do you watch Below Deck Med?
I do.
What is that like? Is it too much yachty all the time, or do you like to sort of take a break?
Kind of, just because now Below Deck Med has been going on for so long, and now we have Below Deck Sailing Vessel coming out. So it's a lot of yachting. But I watch it because I know the people, some of the crew, and also it's interesting to see how a similar situation that I'm not involved with handles the same problems that I face. Yeah, compare and contrast.
Yeah, that must be interesting. Couple questions. what did you think of Aisha and Jack? Did you think their romance was going to survive leaving the ship, or what was your feeling about that?
I thought that they were a very cute couple. I mean, they're both super attractive and like cool. Like, you know, she's got an edgy tattoo on her arm and he's got tattoos. I mean, they're both hot. But it's very rare that relationships in general last after you leave the yacht. First of all, everybody has different nationalities. So you might be from Canada and they're from New Zealand, and that's pretty much a longest distance relationship a person can have, like pole to pole. But also, once you get off the boat and you go back to your normal life, you realize you don't actually have anything in common. You're like, if you're not, because when you're on the boat, that's your entire world. So you have everything in common. But then you get off the boat and you're even like with friendships, you're like, do I even know you? Do I even like you? If we're not talking about like the charter guests and how much they're annoying us, do we get along?
Well, it's such a specific environment, I imagine.
Yeah.
It's hard to sort of transfer outside. Mm-hmm. Who among sort of the Below Deck cast would you want to work with?
For the med?
The Below Deck Med class.
I would work with pretty much any of them. I would love to have Hannah as my second stew, because I think that it would be nice to have somebody who could take some responsibility and understand the pressure a chief stew faces. Because if you've never been a chief stew, and I was guilty of this before I just thought, they don't do anything. I could do a better job, but really we're doing jobs that you don't even know we're doing. So I think that'd be interesting. And also I could teach her how to do better tables. And then...
How would you rate the tablescapes in this past season of Med from 1 to 10?
1.5. And here's why, because I really enjoy doing it, but also saying there's not a lot of decor on the boat is not an excuse. I've had a white party. We had no decor, so I started spray painting pineapples from the galley white. And one season I took Captain Lee's cowboy boots out of his closet, his prized cowboy boots, and did a country western theme where I stuck flowers and then like you can make anything table decor.
Brilliant. I love that.
Oh, thanks.
What did you think of Joao's sort of transformation? He sort of had a rocky first season, and he really sort of took on some responsibility. Was he someone that you would sort of serve under if he was captain?
Yeah, actually, Joao really surprisingly grew on me. I think he's a hard worker. I think he takes yachting seriously. And it's rare that you see cast members come in on their second season with a promotion and not let their ego get crazy. And he just almost got better, which is backwards.
And what about Sandy being hard on the interior? Did you think Captain Sandy was a little too critical, or do you think there were some just concerns?
Well, considering Captain Sandy had just gone to the Monaco boat show and looked at the tables there, and those are like crazy. But she wasn't wrong. And I've actually met her. She was driving by my hometown in Florida, like on the highway. I was like, I'll pull over. We can go to lunch. I was like, great. And she's really nice. But I'm always going to be loyal to Captain Lee. And I think that Captain Lee and her have different management styles. She's more hands-on, and I could see for any workplace, if your boss is like just micro or over-managing, that could be annoying.
Yeah. I mean, I love the idea of you and Hannah working together. That is like a team up that I would die to see.
I would still be the boss.
Yes. But bravo, if you're listening, let's please make that happen soon. Okay. You speak to something really interesting, is that even before the show, I don't think I realized how much work goes into this in the interior and on the deck. And I think people sort of don't put those two pieces together because you're like, oh, you're on a yacht, you're having fun. But this can be pretty grueling at times, no?
I didn't realize how much work it was when I joined, and I'm not sure if I had known if I would have joined. Like when after college, I went into yachting, was just going to do it for 1 year. And after 8 hours of working, I was like down in the laundry room painting my nails. Like, I did my 8 hours. You guys are crazy. Like, I was awful. But I'm glad that it taught me to have such a good work ethic. Even when we're sleeping, we're still on the clock. Like, if an alarm goes off, if something happens, we have to pop up, put on our uniform, and work. You're kind of always working. Even if there's no guests on board, you're not at home, you're not with your family and friends, you're not wearing the clothes you want, you're not even in the country, you don't get to choose what country you're gonna be in the next day. So basically, even when you're not working, you're still working.
So what does really appeal to you then about the yachty life? Like, why have you sort of stuck around for so long?
Well, once I got over all the work, once you lean in, then it's kind of feels like the life lottery, because all of your expenses are paid for. No rent, no food, and like everything's paid for. You're making good money, and that's all going straight into your bank account. It's It's all disposable income, which you should save. You're traveling to some of the most amazing places on the planet that only the 1% go, like St. Bart's, Saint-Tropez. I never would have gone to those places at that age, at that time, and I see it through the yacht owner's eyes. So it's pretty awesome. And then there's hot people from around the world, and it's just super fun.
Not too bad, not too bad.
Yeah.
I mean, this season in Thailand looks especially breathtaking. Like, I was about to quit my job and like book a ticket because this is, I mean, the views, the cliffs, the tree. Like, what was that like to be surrounded by that beauty?
Thailand has been on my bucket list for a long time because there's not a lot of yachts that do that itinerary because it's just so, the South Pacific is so far away. But I've done the Caribbean a lot. I've done the Mediterranean. So when I heard Thailand, I was especially excited and I was not disappointed. It's like nowhere else I've ever been. The culture, the landscape, the cuisine, it's all so different from anywhere else.
Is this sort of a career peak for you?
It's definitely a highlight, yeah.
I know you've worked previously before the show in some pretty high profile yachts. We're serving some celeb clients. What was that like?
That made it exciting. But honestly, celebrities are not really the yacht owners because they can't afford it. Like we're talking about people who like invented Google, like billionaires you've never heard of and you will never be able to Google them because they invented Google and they can make sure they're not on Google. Like just that's how wealthy these people are. But they like to have celebrity friends come on board and that always like made it a little more exciting.
Any guests that you could tease that you previously, you know, had
Yeah,
contact with?
Leonardo DiCaprio came on board for dinner in St. Bart's. He's very beautiful in person. There was one yacht that I worked on that was so high profile, and we had some very famous reality people from the E! Network that was dating a rapper at the time. That was the start of their relationship. That was cool. And I mean, over the years, they just kind of blur together.
Leo on a yacht is a pretty big one, though.
That's why
like
I led with that one
a
on
bucket
purpose.
list moment.
And then Kid Rock in Saint-Tropez, he was shockingly polite.
Really?
Yeah, because we were having this huge party, and the one rule the yacht owner's wife said was no smoking on the yacht. And so the yacht is full. It's like the biggest party of Saint-Tropez in the summer. And the other stewardess, she's from Alaska. She like did not care who anybody was. Like she's a real down to earth. She's like, oh my God, Kid Rock is lighting a cigar. I'm gonna go tell him. I was like, no, don't tell him. It's Kid Rock. I thought he was gonna burst out into a music video and like, I'm Kid Rock. But he's like, oh, I'm so sorry, and put it out.
Wow, who knew?
I know.
So let's break down this new season a bit. As always, the relationships between the chief stew and the chef can be a little tense at times, as we've seen in that tight little galley. Tell me about the new chef season. Kevin is correct?
Yeah, Kevin. So when I first met Kevin, he looked young and he's handsome, and he said he was from New Zealand. So I was like, yay, this is going to be amazing. He's cute, and he's got to be nice. He's from New Zealand. Turns out he spends a lot of time in Australia.
And that's sort of the...
And Australians are, I would say, more macho than Kiwis, yeah.
And so compared to sort of chefs of years past, like Ben or even Adrian, you felt it was a little bit more contentious?
Have you ever heard of like the hot crazy scale for
Yes.
for like dating? I guess for chefs, it's like a crazy, good at their job scale. Like usually like the crazier they are, the better they are at their job. Like Chef Matt from Canada, he was very nice. You know, it was on the scale. And Ben is very good at his job, but also very high on the crazy scale. So for Kevin, he was high on the crazy scale, but I'm not sure where,
Where are we falling?
I'm not sure it's like appropriate or match that ratio.
Was it fun to see Ben come back for this last season of Below Deck Med?
It's always fun to see Ben anywhere.
His food looks so good.
He is such an artist. I think he really cooks as a means to plate because he got a scholarship for painting. He's a very talented painter. So I think really he just wants an excuse to like, the plate is his canvas, like, and cooking is a means to do that. He just happens to be so smart that he can do it.
I forgot to ask this during the Below Deck Med section, but in contrast, Mila,
Oh my
who
Lord.
started the season, I'm just going to leave it at that. What do you think when I say Mila?
I have no words because I think if I came home from a party drunk and threw together food that I found blindfolded in my kitchen, I would still make better food.
Those nachos.
What? It's like, it was shocking. I had heard that the first chef that they had was going to be not that great, but they didn't tell me canned corn and microwave steaks.
So you sort of keep tabs a bit when that season is filming, or I guess you were maybe messaging with people. Or?
Well, I think sometimes when I'm out at sea on charter, I totally block off the world. Like I don't even answer my mom's text. Like, see you in 6 weeks. But sometimes, you know, people will message just to vent or and so they'll send a message updating me.
No, I bet you were like the person to vent to if I was on a yacht.
Exactly. So yeah.
So when you are sort of off season, what do you do to recharge? Because I imagine you were so drained by the end of the charter.
Yeah, usually I take about a week. I stayed a week in Thailand after this and went to a nice resort, and I just stayed horizontal for about 6 days, like sleeping and then going to the pool and laying down and then maybe going to the beach and laying down. And I like to be waited on a lot. Like room service is my best friend. And then, so it takes about a week to decompress.
And then you were sort of ready to re-enter the world a bit.
Yeah. And you're looking forward to it.
And so back to sort of the crew this season. On the interior, we have two new women, Simone and somebody else.
Simone and Courtney.
What is that dynamic like? I know in sort of the past has been some tension with sort of second stew, third stew, but last season I loved you and Josiah so much. You just like got off to such a good start and was so good.
I know, he was so funny. He was so good at his job, and I really did feel like I had somebody like looking out after me. Like if I gave him a break, I'd come back to my cabin and it was like cleaned and nice, which is just nice. But these girls are also wonderful. They don't have as much experience as Josiah, but sometimes that's okay. Basically, as long as they've got a good attitude and they're ready to work hard, you can teach them the rest. Hopefully.
Any people that you were hoping that might have returned for this season? I mean, I was hoping for Josiah, but he looks fine on Instagram.
Yeah, Josiah is living a yacht life himself. Yeah, that would be a downgrade for him. Hoping to come back, I don't know, because sometimes it's kind of fun to meet new people and see what's new. I already worked with you guys last year. Now, you know.
Well, we see some boatmances happening. It seems like, I mean, as you said, we established the crew is very hot. Anybody that you sort of pair off with? I
try to stay away from onboard romantic things because it just gets so awkward. Like next day, hey, you're in a relationship. You live together now. You know, it's just, you move through the paces very quickly. And also as a head of a department, it's like not a super professional look. But 6 weeks is a long time on a boat.
It is.
Cabin fever is a real thing. It really is. And so there are some cute deckhands.
There are. You guys, I watched the first episode and I was like, whoa.
I know.
And of course, I love the relationship between you and Captain Lee. It's at the center of it. And it really sort of, I hate to say this, anchors the show a bit, like grounds it. And it feels almost like a sort of paternal relationship at this point.
Certainly is. I definitely feel like Captain Lee and his wife, Marianne, are like an extra set of parents in a way. We talk at least twice a week.
Wow, twice a week?
Yeah. When he calls me, I feel the pressure to answer because of all that radio training. Like, I'm like, oh gosh, it's the boss. I want to be like, I don't work for you right now. But we talk all the time, and we get each other. And at first, my first season, we didn't get along that well. But, and I always kind of thought his funny sayings that he has, I thought for sure I was like, that guy Googles them, like in his cabin and like saves them. But I'm here to tell you from talking on the phone so often, let's talk about anything, and he comes up with them. That's just how his brain works. I have a running list of notes in my phone. I'm like, I'm writing that one down.
I love the image of him in his cabin, just like trying to come up with a quick
I thought like a phrase of the day calendar. Is what I thought he had.
You know, and of course, this is sort of like the on and off schedule must be pretty grueling at times. Do you see this for your future? Do you see the next 5 years you're staying with the Below Deck, or do you have sort of other dreams or that you want to pursue?
Currently 6 weeks going to an amazing location and making a bunch of money. It's kind of really nice. Like, I love how when I'm out there, I do cut off from the world. I'm not looking at social media. It's just nice to reset and then come back and open my phone. I'm like so overwhelmed. I'm like, whoa, Wi-Fi, all these apps, but it's nice. And I know my boss, starting a new job is always like annoying because you don't know like what rules you're allowed to break yet. So I kind of have a good thing, but I mean, I don't want to do it forever, but I haven't fully figured out what the next is.
What is this time for you like? Because I imagine it's one thing to do the show, but then to watch it back must be sort of nerve-wracking as the show begins to air. and you get all the comments and everything that comes with social media. Do you enjoy that part of it, or is it a little like, oh God, what did I do this season?
No, it's not too much of that for me, thankfully. But it's interesting to see if people like it. You want people to like it. We work hard. The whole production team works hard. But it can get overwhelming. There's just so many platforms, and the show's got a lot of viewers now. There's a lot of opinions out there.
You know, I was thinking of June this past season on Below Deck Med, and I literally walk around my apartment going, June, Hannah.
That's
June,
such a
June,
thing.
Hannah.
Who knew that would be such a bop of the summer?
It truly is.
I know.
Colin did that rap remix.
That was so good. Yeah, and I actually liked June.
Yeah?
I wrote her a message actually on Facebook saying, you did a good job.
That's very sweet. I imagine she really appreciated that.
She said thanks, but I didn't feel like she was that thankful. It was like a really nice message.
I mean, I imagine it's easy to sort of feel sort of misunderstood maybe on this show. I mean, this is edited. People have a certain perception of you. Do you feel like there's a misperception of you, or do you feel like what you see is sort of what you get?
I think my first season, I was shocked that I came off as like stern, cold ice queen because really, in working, especially on yachts, I think that laughter is a very important part of the job because this is all we got. Yeah. We're stuck on this boat together. We better have a good time. And I just feel like people didn't see the more lighthearted side of me. But other than that, it's pretty accurate. And any editing that's done is not, it's all fair, it's all true, but it's just for time's sake. 'Cause they're filming so many hours and only have so many episodes to get it all in.
And the last thing I want to mention about the show before we go to audience Q&A, something that I think is really important, and I think what draws viewers in is that there's this sort of upstairs, downstairs dynamic, right? Mm-hmm. And that this show sort of shines a light on like the emotional and physical demands of like being a service worker that typically is not shown ever, or at least on a channel like Bravo. And then you're also serving these 1%ers who can be so sort of outrageous and crazy, and you see the frustration. And I think that sort of dynamic is really unique, especially on a reality show. Do you feel the same way?
I think my first season also, because I bartended through college, and I remember somebody ordered a mojito, and I said, oh, mojitos are only jerks order those. And I thought for sure that people would be like, the bartenders of the world would be like, that's right. But people have compared us to Downton Abbey. The only thing I want to say about that is, like, yes and no, kind of. Like, technically, our quarters are downstairs, and they're kind of upstairs. But yachting is also about the adventure. I mean, it's a very cool lifestyle. I think a lot of people just do it to travel and make money, but not for, like, ever.
I mean, we have reality TV royalty right here. So, I mean, Downton Abbey.
Thank God they made a show about it.
Okay, we have a tweet question for you. Beej Stein wants to know, Kate Chastain was wondering why you decided to make the big move to NYC, my hometown. I read your book and loved every minute of it. What are you doing with yourself when you are not filming Below Deck?
Right, so I just moved to New York May 1st.
Congrats, welcome.
Thank you. Basically, I was born and raised in Florida, and it's just a lot of retired people there. And I wanted something different. I think this was an important life experience, to like live in New York City once. And I'm loving it. It was kind of such a big jump out of my comfort zone, like when I first started yachting. So I wanted to do that again. New change.
Okay, and we have 2 questions for you. Hello.
Hello. I was wondering how you de-stress on the boat. I know you were talking about after the boat, but maybe there's some types of books or meditation that you do while you're on the boat.
I wish I could say that I did that, but there is literally no time at all. 0 time. I'm stressed out the entire time, and it's just part of it. Sadly.
I see sometimes at night people on their cots with their phones.
I would check like current events. That was like for 5 minutes maybe, but then I fall asleep. So tired.
So exhausted, I imagine. And one more question.
Hello.
Hi.
I was wondering if there are any life lessons or advice that you learned while filming the show.
Yeah, actually, I think you can't always handle what life throws at you. But you can always handle how you react to it. So that's one thing. Like, anything can happen on the show. Like, a charter guest wants this. And yeah, that's annoying. But if you handle it with like a sense of humor, you can actually come out on top.
Thank you.
I mean, some of the quips and lines that you have in the show are so hilarious.
I'm just going to say the rocket ship blanket. Like, somebody called me bitchy to my face, and it humiliated me. Like, I wanted to cry, but instead I just did a creative outlet.
Handling it with humor is always the best way.
Yeah, and I think that's just good in life in general because stuff happens.
Well, thank you so much for being here. You
Thanks
are
for
such a
having
delight. I love
me.
you so
This
much.
was so fun.
Everybody make sure to watch Below Deck tonight on Bravo and watch all season. And let's give it up for Kate again. Thank you so much.
Thanks.